Hey everybody, welcome to Stonehearth Stream 300. It's a milestone, and my brother's already trolling me in chat. Yeah, so in case you haven't met before, I'm Tom. Nice to meet all of you guys, and I am really thrilled to be able to introduce Stream 300. So it's been another year of development, another year of ups and downs, but some really cool things happening. The team has grown, and we're starting to really put a dent in this darn thing. So super grateful for all of you for sticking around and being part of the journey for so long. Oh wow, questions already. I love questions. Hey, aren't you the guy who came up with Poyo? Am I? I think I might be. There was a... Hi, Tom. Hi, Halo Kills. I'm not sure if I am or not. I remember there were like 4 of us, and we just stumbled on Poyo, but I love that name, and we still see Poyos on the whiteboards here from time to time, which is awesome. This is Tom. Hi, roll symbol. Good to see you again. Yeah, Tony is just off camera, along with some other friends that you guys will love to see. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can take a few more questions since it's been so long. Yes, it is Tom, Stone Monkey. Holy crap. I'm surprised at how many nicks I still remember, because it's been a while since I streamed. But yeah, you guys are awesome. In here, let's make a new game, just for fun. So this stream, I don't want to spoil, but I think I will anyway. Sure, I'll spoil it. So maybe you guys already know, but like a lot of the stream is going to be devoted to the multiplayer, which showed up on last week's Desktop Tuesday. And sort of a funny story about that was of course we always envisioned multiplayer, and we've been building the game with multiplayer in mind since like day one. Oh, you guys are telling me questions, so I'll just like wrap this story up. TLDR, it was kind of an aspirational target that we'd have multiplayer, but we never actually tested the thing, and we were kind of nervous, to be honest. And Tony basically went into a hole for like I think 3 days and came out with sort of plugging in like the last 2 wires to get multiplayer to work, and it largely worked, or it basically worked, which is like kind of a big sigh of relief to everyone here, and high fives all around. And then Angelo and Morgan have been chugging away, basically refining it and making it robust. But it's been like one of the big game changers, I think, for Stonehearth, is seeing like that multiplayer game like come together, and the playtests have been awesome and fun. So I don't know, it's been awesome. Who's the one who wrote the multiplayer code? Mostly Tony, now Angelo and Morgan. Why don't goblins have pumpkin bombs? I can't answer that question. There's no reason why the goblins should not have pumpkin bombs, except for maybe a taste decision. But that sounds pretty fun. What happened to you? Have you been tied up in a closet? I should probably explain that. Yeah, so I have not been tied up in a closet. What's actually happening is since the transition to Riot, my role has slightly changed. So I'm largely responsible for doing, unfortunately, kind of boring business stuff sometimes, like managing our new branch office. But I'm still fairly involved with Stonehearth. I talk to the team, Richard and Stephanie, almost every day, and try to advise and help where I can. So it is true that I don't stream, and it's true that I have less involvement with, I guess, doing the arts, but that's a pure upgrade because Ali is just absolutely destroying that department in Mali too. So I'm still around, even though you don't see me, I'm still here. And maybe one more question. Please turn down the music. Okay, that's great feedback, thanks. I don't know how to, because honestly it's at volume number 1 right now, so we'll try to, I don't know, I think I just muted it, but...
Oh my god, is this still always the case?
Oh, hi Stephanie.
Oh hey, is it maybe the music that's on the game?
No, it's
oh, it's good old...
Oh no, well, my Windows just went
Goodbye.
away.
Hello stream. Hello stream.
You've
yeah.
been decapitated. Here,
I'm told that I'm supposed to tell you that you don't need to be on the stream anymore if you don't want to be on the stream anymore.
You're kicking me off of the stream?
Yeah, I'm kicking you off of the stream.
She's kicking me off the stream. Can we, is there like a vote? Can we do a poll?
Hey, if you
can
guys
figure out how to do a poll.
hey,
Okay. I think it's time for me to go.
if you guys would like Tom to remain on the stream, I don't know.
What have I done?
Would you guys like to see Tony?
So they see your first.
Yeah. Hey Tony, what have you been doing these days?
Do I have to walk over there? I probably should. Is there room?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
By
Come
all
on over.
means.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, there's music. Oh, can I have the wombat?
Here, you can have
Yeah,
my
you
seat.
can have the
So, trivia.
I got the wombat. So I went to Australia with. Hi. Am I centered? Yeah, cool. So I went to Australia and I brought Tom back a wombat and he became the mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm still around. Hi, look. Tom just did a quick change of costume and we are the same person now. But I think it's amazing how far Stonehearth has come since the Kickstarter, but especially in the past year, where the team has really leveled up. And for me, like Tom talked about multiplayer, that was really satisfying. To not only see that, like, hey, we think this will work, it actually working, but have the team to just take over and really turn it into like a feature that you can actually play instead of just something that happened to work on my computer. And I think I'm like not as involved as Stonehearth as I used to be, but I'm super excited by the ways that the team has grown. I think when you're a scrappy startup, you do what you can with what you have, but since coming to Riot, we've been able to really invest in the health of the team and extra disciplines like, you know, Luke and Richard and all the artists and additional engineers we've hired is really going to be great for the project. So I'm just super happy. Like, even though I'm not as involved as I used to be, like, I'm still involved. I still talk to people, and it's going to be a great year coming for Stonehearth.
Can I jump in?
No. You had your time. All right, jump in. Fine. Here.
All right.
Squeeze in.
So something that someone said that jumped by related to something that Tony said, which is we see the game moving forward in leaps and bounds, and I know that sometimes you guys don't see that same level of progress, and sometimes have a little bit of frustration and maybe you feel like you didn't get what you wanted in alpha or whatever else. That's unfortunately kind of the what we take on when we develop the game in the open with collaboration with you guys, is that sometimes you don't see progress in subsequent alphas, but it's happening behind the scenes. And multiplayer is a good example. There were like months and months of work that went into making that actually happen, and we didn't feel a ton of confidence about like putting it in front of you guys and getting your hopes up while that was happening, but it was happening, right? And so it's kind of what.
I look like an evil villain with the wombat in my arm.
Well, you do.
That was your intent, is
Yeah.
my understanding.
Right. So, I mean, I understand, like, sometimes it can be frustrating to maybe not see progress, but over this past year, the team has grown tremendously. There are more people working on Stonehearth than ever, and we're equally as committed, as strong as ever, to actually delivering a game that you guys are really going to love. So, thanks so much for your patience, and I think it's time for us to get out of here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I
So,
feel like
thanks,
that was
guys.
a pretty good introduction to having the rest of the team come on stream. The good news, guys, is that our room is a whole lot bigger than it used to be. Let's see, where is this going? All right, hey, rest of the team, where are you?
Not in the frame.
You can now move into the frame.
Aha.
All right, we set
You'll
up all
probably be
these
better
chairs.
putting it on the other,
On the other
monitor
monitor?
and then turning that monitor.
You bet. This is why Richard is the lead designer. Okay. Woohoo! All right. So as you can see,
So much bigger now. We don't know how to organize ourselves.
a constant actual issue. So hey guys, what I wanted to do just now is to have everyone on the team just sort of like introduce themselves. You probably know most everybody from streams. There are a couple people who aren't here. Nick. So I guess starting it off, I'm Stephanie. I'm Stonehearth's product owner. I can wear the wombat on my head for I think 40 minutes at a time. And what I most want to say to all of you guys is that you are what enabled this project to really sort of like come to fruition, and you are the reason that I come to work every day, and I really want to make sure that you get something amazing to play, and I'm really happy that you've been with us for all this time.
Hi, I am. Oh, this is
Talking wombat.
This is our equivalent of the conch shell. All right. Hi, I'm Richard. I'm the lead designer on Stonehearth. It's been about a year now since I joined the team. And it's been a really great year, honestly. When I left Vancouver to come back here to San Francisco, I had some trepidation about how things would work out. But honestly, this last year, working with these people has been some of the best time I've ever spent in game development. I love coming into work every day. And while this game is a challenging one for sure, with all the systems that interact and all the stuff that needs to be done to make a really great experience, it's a really cool challenge, and I love working with everyone here. So, one bet.
Right. I'm Linda. I'm an engineer on Stonehearth, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me to have this amazing job, to see the team grow, to see the game grow. So, thank you.
I thought you were going to say for having this amazing one.
Well, that's part of it, I think.
Hopefully they can hear us.
Yeah.
Are we talking loud enough?
Let us know if we're talking loud enough. I'm going to move the mic slightly closer to the rest of the team.
Not much closer.
Yeah.
That's about as far as you're going to get.
Okay, cool. The mic is slightly closer.
Hi, I am Matt Malley. I've done several streams. I am a generalist artist on the team. I've been here for a little over a year and a half. And I want to say thank you guys for coming to the streams. It's super awesome to see you guys and see your updates for us and us update you. All the cool stuff you guys put on the discourse is really awesome. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Max. I'm an engineer in Stonehearth. I've been around for about half a year. I've done a bunch of features, I've done a bunch of prototypes, done a bunch of streams. Thank you for attending the streams, looking at the prototypes in the DTs, and actually using the features in the game. I hope you guys stay with us until we're done.
Thank you. Hey guys, I'm Morgan. I've been here for about 3.5 months now. Time flies. I'm an engineer working on Stonehearth, working with Angelo and adding multiplayer. I just want to say that I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited for the road ahead.
Oh boy, my turn. Hi, I'm Allie. I'm the lead artist on Stonehearth, and gosh, how long have I been here? Like, a while?
Over 2 years?
I woke up here and they won't let me leave.
Since the Pollo, I believe.
No, I just want to tell you guys that you are all amazing and inspiring to me as somebody who works on trying to figure out like what the artistic vision and like the sense of placeness that this game takes place in. When I see the things that you guys build with it, even in the state right now, from colossal kingdoms to beautiful mods of really charming characters and hairstyles and all that stuff, like, that fires me up. I'm so glad to have all of your participation, and just like that gets me up in the morning, and I'm so excited to work on this game for you guys and with you guys.
Hi everyone, I'm Hair Guy. I'm a turnip farmer, and I can't wait to see Turnip Town released. I'm really looking forward to that. No, I'm Angelo. I'm an engineer on Stonehearth, and I can't wait to play it with you with multiplayer features.
Thank you. It's me, Justin. I'm an engineer here on Stonehearth. I am also a member of the Turnip Town trio with Angelo and Linda. Yeah, I've been working on building recently with Chris. I'm really excited about that, and I want to say thanks for all the support, and I'm looking forward to everything we do in the future.
Hi, I'm Brad. I handle publishing for Stonehearth. I joined Radiant, wow, almost 3 years ago. Tom is shaking his head. Constant thorn in his side. And actually, before I joined Radiant, I was a Kickstarter backer. So I'm here because you know, this is a game that I absolutely believe in, and the thing that makes me most excited is seeing what you all do with the game, the incredible things that you create and share. And that's why I am here every day.
Hey, I'm Albert. I joined just after the Kickstarter, and I'm the engineering manager.
I don't really write as much code anymore these days, but when I do, it's mostly to deal with simulation systems or mathy stuff, or fixing bugs that I hate my previous Albert in the past for having put into the game. So yeah, I have lots of issues with my previous self, doing things that I'm not very happy with now. But anyway, it's been
going to therapy for it.
I really love the journey with you guys. You guys are an amazing community, and it's just so heartening every day to come into the office and see how passionate you guys are about the game. So thank you. And back to Stephanie. Catch the wombat.
No! Wombat, are you okay?
All right. And I guess I also wanted to mention that Nikki couldn't be here. She's a UX designer. She's been working super hard on a bunch of features. She wanted to say that you guys are the best community ever, and that means a lot from her. She's worked with a lot of big communities, so it's amazing. Chris, are you here? Chris said he would fill the chat with fire emoji, so I don't see him. But that's what he was going to do. And he is definitely still working on building, and he's been here, like Albert, since right after the Kickstarter. Oh, whoop, yes?
Random Canadian software guy.
You want to read that out loud, Stephanie, for us?
Oh, it is Chris. It's idle proof. This is Chris, rando Canadian software guy. Thanks for supporting us on this long journey, letting me have one of the best jobs in the world, and for all of your patience with the building bugs. They will all be fixed. All right. So thank you guys all.
We were also missing Luke.
Yes,
who's
that's
new
true.
Designer who joined us about 2 months ago now. Is that right? Video game time compression makes me get confused.
And Anna. Don't forget Anna.
And
Yes,
Anna as well.
and Anna, right. So, who is our QA analyst, and Relis, as you know her, and the creator of the terrain colors mod that you guys all use. Fantastic models and fantastic auto tests.
In Candyland.
Yeah, in Candyland. All right. You know, there is...
Thanks for joining us on the stream. Bye.
Yes. All right, so this is the team. This is the team as it is right now, and I guess we will continue on with the rest of Stream 300. What do we have planned, Brad?
I think Allie is going to talk to us about some terrain modeling that she's been doing.
We're going to talk about square dirt.
All right, shall we start here?
And Stephanie's going to show off some builds and mods, and then we're going to play some multiplayer.
Lucky. All right.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, Team Stonehearth, you do not actually have to stay in the room, though you are welcome to. Allie and Angela, please do stay.
Look over Allie's shoulder, make
Yeah.
Plus they're very close.
I invite you to try.
Oh, wow.
Bye, stream.
Okay.
Bye,
Wait, why are you leaving? Why are
You don't need me. No.
No, I was gonna go like tell Steam that we were streaming. Can I tag out for a sec?
Well, this is fun. Hi, guys.
Allie's on.
The logistics.
Cool.
Did we close the thing I said not to close?
Probably.
Oh, time to
that tends to be
find
how we operate
out.
around here.
Oh, I think we closed the thing I said not to close.
No.
I had no idea.
I did not know.
No. Nobody told me. She's passed away.
We totally closed the thing we said not to close.
You guys could come and sit in frame if you want.
Okay, cool beans. How do I fix this so that we don't accidentally see any, like, stuff and things? Oh, but that sends you guys to the abyss. Hang on a minute. We need to...
I recommend against sending our players to the abyss.
I try not to. Oh. All right, y'all are going to have to forgive me for just a second, because in order to F11 this thing, in order to hide, like, where our files and things live, I had to move the chat window over here. I may need some help keeping up with
You
questions.
need to change the... right now you're just sending the camera.
Amazing. Hey, how about that? That's me for totally not checking on everything. But I did just send you guys to the abyss, so hold up. Oh no.
Behind the Twitch window.
I'm working on it. Don't look at me. Okay, cool, we did it. All right, you guys are back from the abyss. So just to prove it, here you are, safe and sound. I just have you over here. How do we hide the comment streams on these dumb things? This was all set up before. Why did you guys close it?
I didn't touch it.
You did.
It was Tom.
Was it view mode? Oops.
Blame Tom.
It was. All right, so that was a bit of a rocky setup. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so hi again, everybody. That was a little bit rocky setting all that up. People actually did stay in the room just to make me nervous, so I hope you all enjoy that. Huh? I did challenge you to do that, so I guess challenge accepted. We're here now, and I'm not going to waffle on that for too much longer, because we're going to talk a little bit about some of the high-level studies that I've been working on for Stonehearth. over these past couple of months, and about as high of an altitude as we could come up with, in fact, looking down from 30,000 feet on the world that Hearth takes place in, specifically on the terrain. So I had a couple of goals in mind when I went into this. One, it sprang originally from, we were doing very focused and tight studies of like houses and hearthlings and things like that, but without much of an idea of like what the broader picture of what the world was like. I was a little bit concerned that we were going to run into a problem where like we had all these things that lived in the world, but we didn't really have a solid identity of what the world was, and therefore like a through line that all of these things could like connect into. So some of the ideas that I wanted to chase down with this, they're listed in here with a couple of pictures for like pure inspiration, along with the idea of like tracking down how do we not only like make the wider world look good and interesting, but how do we like infuse it with like life and an ability to be a place that you can tell stories about. So one of the hypotheses is that consistency helps the world feel genuine. Right now, when you load up the world, it is exactly how it appears no matter how much fog of war you see. So we definitely want to inject that space with enough variety to give each biome like a distinct personality, but in such that it gives you an idea of what you can expect, just maybe a little more of it. That way, when we do switch it up, you have little inconsistencies or points of interest that help the world feel memorable. So while you're exploring terrain, while you're exploring the expected, when you have small moments that don't quite match up with what you expect, let's say you get to a forest and instead of finding the mushrooms that you're used to harvesting, you find fairies. Suddenly that's a point on your map that has a place and a purpose and a sense of identity that's special to that campaign and gives that little version of your world a little bit of color in the story of not just your community, but of the world that they live in. And of course, diverse, distinct ecosystems are cool and create places that you can attach stories to. So I'm going to scroll through a couple of ideas that we put together, just trying on like what the different moods of each of our biomes could be. For the temperate biome, oh, I'm also like running over you guys completely without actually looking at the chat. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
I'm actually logging into Twitch, so I can help you.
Thank you.
Would you like this chair? You could go sit beside her.
I could do that, sure. That works
I will sit on this surprisingly heavy rock.
Oh, Coaster's Paul. Okay, yeah. So Coaster's Paul is calling out Pink Rock. That's Pink Rock is one of my inspirations for all of these studies. Is just like, again, you load into the desert, you immediately see everything you can expect from the desert. Same is true for the temperate biome. But the first time I saw Pink Rock, without understanding why it was there, it's just that color at that elevation. Like, I was so amazed and enchanted and excited by the fact that this thing was different and existed. It became like the heart of like my save at that time. Like, I think I even called the town Pink Rock. So it's like, I wanted to see if there was a way that we could like infuse the world with lots of little moments like that, but also like not make it so random that it's just pure procedural generation where it's like, well, I guess anything goes, so everything's a surprise all the time. So enough consistency where it's like, okay, I know what to expect. That way, when you do find things that don't quite match up, it's a surprise and it sparks a reaction. Yeah, Hyrule Symbol, we did basically worship Pink Rock. It was it was like the weird pink rock god of that kingdom. So with the temperate biome, I was looking to explore types of sceneries that would help create a sense of like, oh man, I'm suddenly very self-conscious.
Well, while you are thinking, Sir Asterix was asking if we ever figured out what the engine map would look like.
I think we covered some of that before. I don't have any pictures of that queued up. So in past explorations, we took a look at the edge of the pizza box and tried placing it inside of a couple of different metaphors, some of which were like islands adrift in a sea, where if you looked out onto the horizon, you could see them, you could see others in that space and have the illusion that the world is much bigger than this space that you are confined in. These kinds of approaches try to make that edge feel like some kind of like natural feature of the land instead of just like a mathematical cutoff. But other ones were far more whimsical and actually planted the world that you live on like within the pages of a book, for instance. Kind of, again, playing up this metaphor that
what is happening in Stonehearth is a story of something that is happening, and just kind of like adding to that cozy reference that it gave you. So, man, I really wish that I had those to actually be able to pull up. Like we have like waterfalls spilling over pages and things like that. So the images that I'm showing in here, while they are all cropped to a box, these are not explorations of the edge of the world or anything. These are just framing tiny spaces while I was exploring how to arrange large block-like forms in ways that weren't just like, here are a lot of blocks scattered all over the place and they're super chewy. These ones are piled up in a triangle, so it's a mountain. So the one place artistically that we're really constrained in Stonehearth is in giant cubes on the terrain levels. So part of my objective with these studies was finding ways to evoke features of the land without forcing the blocks to do things that were really aesthetically displeasing. So if you look down here at some of these really gross rough sketches of like mountain ranges, you can see that like I was attempting to pile the blocks almost like piles of boxes instead of like little stubby things that try to render curves and form at a very, very small and specific level. But even this felt very discombobulated and very jagged. Instead, I ended up taking these more to a place where there was almost like a rhythm in the change of the scale, like kind of a solid predictability. And I kind of came across this idea of thinking about the greatest landforms, especially mountains, as being a statement like almost like a ripple of water that would extend across the entire piece of terrain. So if you look at these top-down things, you can imagine that in the temperate biome, where the idea is to create kind of these like warm and like soothing open spaces, like you can imagine that there's like maybe one or two large mountain peaks, and then the rings of terrain like concentrically grow out from the highest summits and get gradually shorter and shorter and shorter as they go, which, although it's not directly a sloping foothill, over the entire piece it creates the idea of that gradual sloping foothill. You can kind of see, like, again, it almost looks like water. Meanwhile, like, I wanted the desert to evoke a sense of like energy and surprise, so the metaphor for that land became much more like almost like dropping rocks into water, so like big splashes that got higher towards the summit and tighter towards the base. So it really pushed on that verticality instead of on specific details. And then meanwhile, there are a few drawings in here that speak to highly conceptually what an Arctic biome might be like. But at this phase in the explorations, I was considering it to be like, this is like cold and forbidding, like a wall that challenges you to climb it up. Everything is like broad and flat. That didn't end up being very exciting, but comparatively to these other things, it was using these big forms to tell an overall story about what you could expect like emotionally from each of these places. Not just having landforms for the sake of having them there, but using the shape language to communicate ideas about what each of these places, and then what the kind of characters who lived there were like.
So Naikara is asking if ever we will have Stonehearth t-shirts available for sale. Stephanie, do you have any thoughts on that?
We've always said that it would be a long road to swag. Like, that if we distracted ourselves from making the game in order to make t-shirts, you might be angry that we weren't making the game. So Personally, I can't wait till we make cool swag for you guys, but I agree that we need to make sure we make a cool game before we get distracted making cool t-shirts. Because, I mean, who we have so many plans.
Like a plushie of everything, really. Yeah, like...
wait, did you, Mur Burleyhand?
Mur Burleyhand.
I know of Mur Burleyhand, but you want a plushie of Mur? What would you do with it?
You pet him?
Alright, well that was fun. Hyrule Symbol says, at Stonehearth we need a soundtrack published before merchandise, so...
Yes.
Yeah. This door's heavy. Call Me Sabs is saying, I've been a while. Is it the plan for there to be multiple biomes in a single map? I don't have a solid, concrete answer for that. I think it would be cool to explore.
So,
what do you think, game designer?
Yeah. This question actually ties in a bit to the question about what does the edge of the world look like, and that Sulfite asked a little bit ago. So we haven't actually fully decided on what the direction we want to go with the edge of the world is, because right now what I'm and others are beginning to work on is what is the broader like narrative and structural context to what you're actually doing inside of the space. And once we have that, we'll be able to inform what the world is, what it contextually means. Is there a way to add new land masses, to terraform the land masses you have with a geomancer or something else? So adding new biomes into the world as it is a challenging one, because you need to figure out some way. It's no longer just like, oh, you will add an ice biome and put it next to this forest biome. You need to like create transitions between those two. And so every time you do that, it increases the effort by quite a bit. But broadly speaking, we're interested in exploring somewhere inside of that space. We just don't know what will shake out yet.
Yeah, at the moment we're pursuing a bunch of different ideas, and part of what we're talking about actually gets back, like when I started talking about these, speaking about like, hey, before we focus on like what do all the things that live in this place look like, we should probably figure out even higher than that, what kind of place is it that they live in? And even higher than that, what kinds of things about this game matter the most, and how do we use the things that you see and the things that you interact with to really drive that home? So in a sense, like even these studies, while they do inform direction and some really fun ideas, there's still even a level, just a level too fine almost. But there are things in here that I would certainly hope survive. Some things like just varying the color of blocks in the terrain so you can create nicer dappling effects over a large area instead of just like a constant space of one color of green.
Also to Hyrule Symbol, whether we could add like sheets of paper to the map, extending it. So that type of model, really cool. If you played Prison Architect, is not too dissimilar from that, where you buy new land plots and then they expand the map as a result. And also if you look at one of the Desktop Tuesdays we did about a month ago, where it was talking about the second exploration prototype we did. It actually has a screenshot of one of the things that we're exploring along that space, where you can have like different biomes connected to each other. Still don't quite know what that shape will look like when it comes to Stonehearth itself, but we are ideating in that space if we've not made a decision.
By the way, I should mention time check. Linda really wants us to watch Summer Wars.
Oh gosh.
And so, and Brad really wanted me to show off some amazing mods that are currently going on right now. Okay. So when you guys are good, just
we
let
should
you know.
Probably transition, especially if we want to get to multiplayer.
I at least wanted to share like a few of the things in here that I was super excited by.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, so some of the things that did tumble out of these that really got me excited were ideas of cutaway exploratory forests. Again, probably not the most realistic, but I loved this sense that you could find patches of forest that were so dense that when your hearthlings went into them, you'd have to enter like almost like a mining view mode to see like what they were doing under the canopy of trees, and you'd have like all of these unique encounters that would happen in those spaces. Like that's very mysterious, very Lost Woods to me. Atmospheric, I thought this was a really good opportunity to explore like, hey, when you break out of the forest, you enter into these like wide open, golden, like almost like ocean of plains and wildflowers, and the opportunity there to create like little moments that weren't really consequential but just kind of magical, like having your hearthling like run through a little pile of flowers and seeing a bunch of fireflies escape, because as it turns out that wasn't what they were. Bunch of water studies. Oh, God, there are a couple pretty pictures, canyons. So many things. Really good color study. Yeah, so as the doc goes on, these things actually happened all chronologically, but so the desert biome studies were very much about like just picking better colors that matched these more towards the types of spaces that inspired them, instead of just feeling like taupe. And also like figuring out how to create transitions in the types of ground that you find there, though there are some higher questions about like what do those things actually mean. Should I keep scrolling down, or?
I don't know what else is in this document, so you're welcome.
Well, I
to
mean,
keep
there's
scrolling.
all of this really experimental stuff about freezing the ocean so you can walk across it in the wintertime.
How about you scroll through it quickly, and then individuals who are really curious can go frame by frame in the YouTube upload.
So these guys down here are all exploring.
Hello, future people who are
Hi.
watching this in the future.
Welcome.
This
Oh, look,
is
there's
very...
lava. Who knows? Oh, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Oh, look, that's some lava. There's some fire sprites. Oh, cute. Now close this document.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I feel like I spent a lot of time rambling. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I feel like I spent a lot of time rambling, and I just did the thing I wasn't supposed to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and keeping up and watching all of this stuff unfold. I know some of you popped in while that stuff was underway.
So hopefully we'll get back to you with some updates of how all this eventually ends up manifesting. It's always super fun.
All right. So next up, I am just incredibly impressed by the number of mods that have happened inside Stonehearth recently. Like, I think one of the I saw Anna say at some point, "Oh my god, have you caught up with all these mods?" And really, it is truly amazing what you guys have been doing. So to celebrate that and to celebrate some of the enormous cities that you guys have been building, I actually pulled 2 save games out of Discourse? Yes, Discourse. This one is from Avarest, and it is Silkweed Swamp. And one of the reasons that I thought it was really cool was it showed Avarest making this amazing city inside Bruno Supremo's swamp biome. So, okay, sorry guys, I'm going to pull this over to the right. Continue. What? Yeah? Right, okay. The Stonehearth icon in the bottom looks like a $sign. This one? Oh, I always thought of it as sort of like a Superman shield S or something. You know? This is like super Stonehearth.
That everybody on the playground knew how to draw.
Oh yeah,
if
I
they were
drew
cool.
so many of that.
The Super S?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Right?
like
You draw 3
three lines,
and
and
then you connect them, and it's like you never.
No.
Oh, well, we will teach you
Oh
something.
my god.
New
Okay, cool. Like happy 10,000. But yes. So I'm really excited to buy all the mods. Let me see if I can find the. It's been a long time since I have actually worn the wombat for any large period of time. Let me see if I can pull them up. Let's see. So call out to Bruno. Bruno, you have done so many amazing things with mods in the last year. Like, it's fantastic. I know Swamp Mod was something that you wanted to do later, and you actually did Archipelago first. Like, Archipelago by itself, like, refreshes Stonehearth for me. It's kind of awesome. And Swamp Biome and, like, the associated goblins are also very cool. So here's Avarest City inside the Swamp Biome. I really want to call attention to these amazing trees. Like, I think these trees are really, really neat. And, like, you know, this is, like, almost like Silkweed, but it's cattails and the water's all murky and, like, wow. This is just really good stuff. And look how, like, there's, like, a bloom all over the swamp. Like, it's just, like, exuding fumes. And, of course, over here, like, you know, Hearthlings hanging out by the fire. This mod also has... This save also has quite a number of other things in it. Let me see if I can pull it up. It has Relis's Train Colors mod, which is super useful if you ever want to build something that looks green. It has Pingu's Home Sweet Home mod. Let me call that one up too so that you can see it. If you guys haven't played with the Home Sweet Home mod, it is amazing. Like, just like the amount of beautiful things inside of here. Like, in particular, inside the Swamp Biome mod, Avarest has this like outdoor eating area with like these adorable tables. So yeah, so this just adds so much color to the world. I mean, look at this crockery. Like I just look at this and I feel so warm and happy. And of course now it's dawn. Slow it down just a little bit. And yay, like, this is the swamp. Like, I don't know if you really want to be in the swamp. Good job, guys.
The swamp is fine.
But, you know, like it makes for a really great and epic looking story. These conversations happening around the Poyos. It's really, really lovely. So thank you to Avarest and Bruno and Pingu and Relis. Oh, right, one more mod that this has is Stone Monkey's Signery mod. I think this mod has been downloaded so many times since it started to appear, and I really like it because it started modest and then it just kept going. And it just, like, it just has some really lovely things inside of it. In fact, there's, like, additional mods that cause the armor to go like the sign mods. I also, one of the things I really like about these giant save games, oh, look at these mushrooms, these giant save games, is that you always have them in, like, these states of, like, great suspense. So, like, here, in the one we're about to see, like, stuff is always about to happen. So, like, you can see the knights and the footmen and the cleric, like, streaming out the door, setting the orcs on fire. Like, the orcs are just, like, so badass, they're not even reacting to being on fire. But yeah, okay. Like, there's just amazing stuff going on. These, like, really great stories that are happening inside this save. Okay, flipping back to where you guys are. So I'm gonna close this for now and open the other one. There were so many great saves on this thread. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to pull down all of them, but I know we only have an hour together. So the one that I wanted to pull up was Talese, the Talese Trading Company by Fornjotter. Like, you did an amazing job with this save. Like, it's really, really impressive to me. So what is up with the save? Let me find it on Discourse so you can see what's going on. But this save, because it was a trading company, like, incorporated a ton of mods. Like, every mod you might imagine that had something to do with, like, weapons and armor and stuff. Like, it includes, like, you know, Armis Maximus, better stockpiles. By the way, I think this better stockpiles mod is really, really cool. I'm very grateful that you guys have attempted, like, Shinsaka to, like, fix our stockpiles, because, like, they're not great at the moment. Nikki really wants to work on them, but we keep telling her there's more important things because you have made this amazing mod. There's the finery mod, there's the gold count display, roll for need, like, with new crafting resources, weapons, and armor. Again, finery, unit frame activity mod, so, like, you know what people are doing, and then the ballista turret localization fix with the new ballista. So this city is just, it's so beautiful. Like, I had a CEO once when I was working at VMware who just added bridges all over our campus, because she was like, well, everyone loves crossing bridges. And I've never forgotten that. Like, we just had all these extraneous bridges connecting our buildings, and, like, this city has these bridges, and, like, everything that happens on the bridges is so much more interesting because they're on bridges. Okay. So yeah, this mod is fantastic, or this city with all these mods is amazing. And again, I'm gonna go to super speed because it's really pretty when the dawn comes. But yeah, there's, like, this giant pit down here where everyone's keeping all their gold, and, like, you know, the only way to approach is out here. Right, this is so epic. Okay, so see, like, these orcs have, like, run up the staircase, and now we're having, like, a Lord of the Rings moment. Like, look at this archer, he's, like, shooting in the background, the engineer's running. Like, this is actually, I think, the modified turnip shooter. I was, like, not familiar with it until I saw it here. But yeah, so, like, you hold them off, like, all sorts of good things. Hyrule Simple says, your mod is the hardest to spot. Where should we look for it? So Selfite asks how easy is it to shift a mod's code and assets into part of the main game. Well, it's kind of like a trick question because Stonehearth is written as a mod, so Stonehearth and the mods are as much a part of the main game as each other now. I don't think, at the moment, we have not ever taken the stuff that has been in people's mods and moved it into the main game because we respect the fact that you've put a ton of effort into this, and we want you to recognize, we want this to be yours, and we want you to get that recognition. And instead, we just made it super easy to turn mods on from settings so that, like, you could just see the mods there. Okay, so as dawn breaks in the beautiful desert, Ali, I know you have thoughts about the color of the desert, but, like, honestly, I think at dawn it's really beautiful.
There are times where the color of the desert is very nice. I actually really love it at night.
Yeah, like when all the red lamps are going. Okay, so yes, beautiful city, like this pit, and, like, the raised terraced farms, and, like, just the things you guys do, like these tables on the terrace, like, they make Stonehearth alive. Like, look at these potions, they're just, like, this is the guard tower, they're just ready to be deployed, like, at any moment, like, when we're attacked, I'm just gonna, like, come over here and, like, hit them all, right? It's really good. So thank you guys so much for uploading all of these awesome cities to the Stream 300 Alpha 22.5 cities. It is so refreshing and amazing when we're tired of working on the game because the bug is, like, really frustrating or whatever. Oh, look at this, they're wagons. It is amazing to come and see the things that you guys do with it, and then we feel like, wow, now we've got more motivation to keep going. Okay, this combat is not going so great for the home team, but it's okay, dude. It's okay. If you fall in combat, you too can be rescued. All right, I'm gonna close this here so that we can get to the rest of our agenda.
There's one other mod that I personally want to call out. We don't have it loaded up or any video of it or anything, but if you have a chance, go check out the work that Bella Chatlot's been doing on Discourse for her Cat Kingdom mod. It is very cute.
Cat Kingdom, this one?
Yes, that one.
What do you like about it?
Just expand out the compressed stuff. Just little cats. That's all. they have a little, yeah. It's just a very cute idea to me of like managing a little city of cats. That's all.
Hey, you know.
And if you go further down, there's like a whole bunch of work on this. Like this is a 100+ page post now. It's just an interesting read. I pop into it now and then to see how it's going.
You know, I wonder what's gonna happen when these cat people meet the bunny people. All right, Angelo, do you want to talk about multiplayer?
Yes.
Here.
Let's start loading it up.
Right,
What
I
time
will
is
take
it?
the other. It is 10 minutes till. Sorry guys, I think I went longer than I should know. Like Tony went really well.
Okay.
So you know, the game's gone really long. Wait, don't follow that.
Okay, this one is.
So Tom tells the multiplayer story one way, in which Tony spends 3 days on multiplayer. I tell the story another way, in which Tony disappears for 3 days, and then he leaves a bunch of code on a branch. And Angelo is like, you know what? Our game should definitely have multiplayer. Let me investigate multiplayer. And then a day and a half later, like the game has multiplayer. So you know, maybe who's the hero of the story, and like we're all work on this. And now Morgan and Linda are helping Angelo work on this. And as you saw in Desktop
Hair
Tuesday
guy.
last week, it's
Hey.
super.
R.I.P. That's loud. What's loud?
The music of the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's.
Sorry, the
faces.
the multiplayer prototype that we have there doesn't
Oh,
have the
I'm
music
sorry.
turned on.
We turned the game on and everybody's ears got.
Yeah, sorry about
Oh
that.
no, I'm
A
sorry.
recurring problem. Maybe one day we'll fix this.
Okay, how do we turn that off?
Go to what?
Wait.
You turn it off through user settings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can just tell you what, mute the stream for a sec, and then open the game, and then use the UI to like kill the sound.
Do that.
XSplit.
You'll want to hit volume 1.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because it's not.
Right,
we
it's
don't
not
want to mute the mic. We want
right.
to mute
Now we can still keep talking.
Yep. Ideally.
Okay.
Ideally. Yes,
Can you hear
indeed.
us?
Can you still hear us?
Okay, take your headphones away from your ears. Okay, this is already open.
Hopefully this should just work though, because you've already muted the sound from the... It's that loud. Right, it's okay, let it load.
It won't load until you start yours.
What?
Yeah, that's how this works right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, my bad. Close it. Okay, so we said that we would do something about the thing. How close can you open the thing so they can somehow see this? No. Okay, so I have a laptop over here.
Wait, I can make it bigger.
Your best bet is actually put it in your lap.
Put it in my lap.
And then like put your back over here. So like rotate.
Okay,
this way,
yeah.
Like something like this. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Hit new game.
Hit new game. Not join Angela's game?
No, not join Angelo's game. That
Don't do
button,
that.
that will break everything.
So
Don't click that one.
So this multiplayer playtest is being hosted on this laptop, and Angela's gonna log in. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna do Raya's Children in the desert. So this is the prototype that you guys saw on Desktop Tuesday. All right. We are gonna rename these people later. I'm just gonna take these people. Hello, people. We wanted you. We wanted all of you. Yes, indeed. All right. You don't go to war with the army you want. You go to war with the army you have. You go to war with you guys. All right. Cool. Settling here. All right. So the introduction in this prototype anyway, the way that it works for me is pretty much the same. I start the game. I pick the people that I want. I pick the location that I want. And then, Angela, what happens on your computer?
Okay, so in this playtest here, let me switch this back. Yeah. We don't click join Angelo's game. Fire emoji, because that was for another test where we would just join in. We have to go through the embarkation flow again. Right now, let's see. You pick Rise Children? Yeah. Okay. I'll start as the Ascendancy. I'll go through the same flow and I'll pick biome and stuff, but it won't make a difference. It's just prototype, so we don't have like a new flow for anything. So let's go through.
That was one of the things you wanted to fix, right? Like that the new flow had a lot to do with the client. Like, sorry, you had to do the new flow because it was part of
the embarkation and setting up, and like the client didn't know who it was, so there needed to be like a handshake step and things like that. But
basically like the world creation step needs to be separate from the embarkation step, where you pick your hearthlings and your kingdom and that kind of thing. Because if you're joining a game, the biome and difficulties are already set up.
Yeah.
So let's see, accept raw. Okay, who do we have here? Let's see, accept. Farmer, that's fine. Okay. Just gonna place my banner close to Stephanie's banner here.
Oh, hey, Angelo. Wow, you guys look like you know how to farm.
Yeah,
and,
so
like that you might have like access to wood technology. That would be super useful. If you are hungry, I took all these berry bushes, but you can take them back by looting them out of my stockpile.
all right. So here we go. I'm going to loot some of these things just to show what's going on here. So these little loot things, it'll tell my hearthlings to go and pick up items from Stephanie's stockpile.
And again, probably not our final gameplay, but it works for now.
So Bruno says, I like the multiple cursor so much. Please keep it. So yeah, this kind of thing. Stephanie, can you like drag out a stockpile and like mine some things?
Yeah, cool. I will drag out another stockpile over here.
So you can see how.
Can you drag one out and then hold it?
Oh yeah. This stockpile will just be for nice things.
So we can see Stephanie's stockpile in progress, and this was part of the prototype where we're trying to figure out like how do we let other players let players of Stonehearth know what the other player is doing currently, like sort of like telegraphing their presence. Because I guess the first thing we put together, it didn't feel, it felt like single player, right? I mean, there were other Hearthlings there, but it wasn't immediately clear like what was happening and why. So we wanted to like do some like experiments to figure out like how to communicate that.
Multiplayer in this space isn't really a common thing, and part of that is because it's so easy when you're playing multiplayer with someone else, when you don't actually have a character that you're walking around in the world with, to just like screw over your friend, right? Like you
even not on purpose.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm in the middle of like designing this cool house here. Oh, you didn't know I was doing that and dug a trench right under this house that I've been designing for the last 15 minutes.
I just stole Angelo's fire pit, but he doesn't know it yet, and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah. So
no, my
this
fire pit.
Not again.
Not again.
This is easily solved in games like Terraria or Minecraft, where you are a person walking around, because if you're over there like doing something, everyone else can see you doing that. But in our game, you're not actually controlling a person. So we're trying to explore different ways of getting that same sense of presence for the other people you're playing with.
And so part of that was, this is just really quick and dirty, but like I issue a harvest command, and my order is seen like tinted the color of my like player color. So I just like hard coded 5 like player colors.
Can you issue a harvest order on a tree, Stephanie? Yeah. Maybe that one on the hill.
And yeah, so Stephanie's color here is like a yellow, and mustard. Mine is a mustard, and mine is a green. So I can tell that Stephanie has issued a harvest order for this tree. And the same, and I just use that same player color for things like mining zones, and also like
the
stockpiles, and like the highlight around the cursor. And yeah, the cursor is let's see, somebody asked this question: are the cursors based on the angle of the other player's viewport? Yes. So you can see that like Stephanie's cursor there is like angled towards her camera, so you can kind of intuit like what she's looking at based on the angle of the cursor. And
it needs more work, but but like we think that there's value possibly not only showing like where the player is issuing orders, but also like where they are looking at the same time.
So okay, there's some questions here. What happens if Steffi tries to harvest your harvested tree? Yeah, nothing happens. Nothing happens. I see I'm trying to harvest this tree here. There's already a work order placed, and that work order is owned by Stephanie.
I guess, can you cancel that task?
Maybe, but this is, so let's see.
I mean,
it's part of...
He might be able to from a no.
No?
Oh, it's destroy.
No, cancel. Oh yeah,
Okay.
I can. But that's
a side effect.
That's a side effect. It's not intentional, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the specific interactions between players right now haven't been fully designed. We were actually just trying to like explore some baseline ideas, and then a bunch of these other things that you would obviously want to figure out like how to negotiate between people. Right now, we're just kind of relying on a social contract with us playing it of like, hey, dude, don't do that. That's kind of a mean thing to do, and the other person's like, okay, and they don't do it. Because right now you can like destroy each other's buildings as well just via an order. And steal each other's fire pits, which you saw Stephanie.
Yeah,
just do.
Stephanie, did you take my crafting, my saw?
I did not.
Oh, maybe there was a bug and there was no saw
Yeah,
spawn.
there's a bug in this. I think there's a bug in this version where like you have to use debug tools to make.
Oh
a saw.
right, no, I
But
remember
you
that.
probably have an extra potter's cutter. Cause
Oh
in
yeah.
the desert. But definitely use debug tools to make that saw. Well, if this was going to be a game that
Yeah.
for more than 5 minutes. But I think one of the really cool things is we can actually build together. So like I'm going to start
Okay, yeah, let's do
designing
that.
a custom building, and I can be like, okay, this is going to be the floor, but like, you know, maybe I want like the floor to have like a checker pattern or whatever.
And I can add the walls, and I
Oh
can
my gosh.
see what she's working on, and I can decide to. Oh, I don't have a carpenter. Oh no. I can add a roof. Let me get that saw.
But yeah, I think that, you know, designing buildings together is actually like a surprisingly soothing thing. Like, and it definitely.
Oh, it's
does
not the
want
talisman though.
You to be able to talk with each other, like, so, you know, get on Discord or something like that. Get the chat going, because like it's like very soothing. It's like, oh yeah, like let's make this like a relaxation house or whatever. So we're gonna put in lots of windows, like make sure people feel cool and breezy when they're inside.
Are supernatural cursors part of the lore? Probably not. I could imagine a world where they are, but nah, I think we could do a little bit better than that.
Okay.
We
Got some more questions here. Need in-game chat to coordinate. Maybe it splits out. Angela's canceled your tree. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This kind of thing, like maybe call-outs, like where you can put a signal saying, like, look over here, or I'm harvesting this, or a log of like recent activity in the corner saying, like, oh,
Hey.
this harvest order place, like this kind of thing we need to explore.
We were just talking about like map pings, like you might see it in RTS games. So you could be like, oh, I have a little exclamation point here, sound notification, so you can draw people's attention. Like right now, this is still like mostly a proof of technology than it is like designed from a gameplay perspective.
Anything that works mostly by accident, except the fact that two people can connect to the same game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Sorry,
Place a
didn't mean to
chair.
cut you
No, it's fine.
Okay, next question. Just to point out that someone could mark the entire map for harvest at the start of the game. Any plans to prevent that, or just don't play with people who are mean? So a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Like there are some things where it's like don't play with people who are mean. But like we
Good
said,
life lesson.
but like we said, the harvest order thing is not like completely designed out yet. Like it could be that you can override or you can cancel the orders, and that's something that we want. We just have to look at that.
Yep.
And do more exploration around like multiplayer. Okay. For your first prototype, will you guys maybe just having 2 players on one map for a simple version of multiplayer? I get that there's a lot that needs to change before it can go out, but are you planning to go for whoever wants to get in the map, or just have a simple 2-player map?
So the playtest that I believe is in the Desktop Tuesday shows an 8-player multiplayer game. The thing that we need to be a little bit careful of is as you know, when you start building late game towns, right now there's some performance issues in the game where you start to have 40 or 50 hearthlings that the whole game starts to slow down. If you play like a 7 or 8 person game and every player embarks with 7 hearthlings right at the start, you are already at that performance issue. So the game really starts to slow down. Broadly speaking, we're primarily interested in looking to support low numbers of players, 2, 3, 4, but what final number we want the engine to ultimately support or be sustainably able to support has been undecided.
In my ideal universe, like there would be a setting you could set so that if you wanted to make a mod that was like everyone start with like just one Hearthling, but we have like 5 people or 10 people all going, like you could do that, but it wouldn't be how we designed this game. Or like something that was there available in the background for you for all the people who want to change it up.
I think you probably got more questions if you scroll down.
Okay, let's see. Are there plans for making each person's game their own so others can't steal your stuff or destroy your builds, or going to stuck with honor code system? So right now the host or the server has a lot of the control over the game, like setting up the initial world, setting up the conditions, like is it the difficulty and that kind of thing. And also the host will have control over when the game saves and loads. But as far as like gameplay stuff, like, oh, this person's cheating or this person stole my stuff, I think largely we're focused on cooperative gameplay that like is kind of assuming that you're playing with like people you want to play with. Like
yeah, we're like we are leaning into the idea that you are playing collaboratively with probably people you know at some sort of level. So an idea of like a matchmaking queue that matches you with some random person in the world is likely not something that we'll be interested in doing. It'll be more a thing of like, hey, I want to play this game. Hey, let's invite you through my Steam friends list or something else.
I think of it as like, would you play Legos with this person? Would you invite them over to your house and let them touch all your Legos? Okay, maybe we can play Stonehearth together.
So that goes, so Top Skyrit says, what about person versus person type of map? So I think that goes into what we were saying. Like we're focusing on doing a cooperative, like collaborative play.
Yeah, we think that honestly there's a lot of fun and a lot of new experience associated with the idea of working together to build a space with someone else in this genre that hasn't been done before. If we move into the PvP space, it's going to cause us to put a lot of focus on effort on systems that we may not prioritize otherwise to make that a good experience, and it might pull us away from some of the features like customization and like aesthetic choice that currently a lot of you guys resonate with.
Right, you were talking about how there's just a tension between like decoration and optimization, right? Like, or in storytelling and
yeah. So they're kind of like three. In my view, they're kind of three main motivators that are going on. You've got your people that want to that care about narrative and structure. You've got people that care about aesthetic motivations. Like creating the prettiest house, the prettiest home. You got people that are like optimizers who want to get to all the classes as quickly as possible and make the most efficient town that they can. When we're in a collaborative space, that still kind of allows you to opt into any of those types of experiences that you want to. And if you have multiple people that fit like certain paradigms more than another, it's actually like nice. They're complementary. You can have your friend figuring out the exact road pathway to get your miners to be more efficient while you go about like putting potted plants along the way so they're happy. But as soon as you shift into a PvP perspective, then everyone who is not an optimizer loses out. Yeah. Because the optimizer is going to have the biggest army, the fastest, and it's just going to roll over the person who spent a lot of time decorating all their homes. And that doesn't sound great. And then finally there's also the side of like, well, you spent X amount of time, like hours building your town, and then your friend comes over and destroys it all. It probably feels a bit like a dude just came over and kicked over your sandcastle that you spent all day building. We don't think that'll be ultimately a particularly great experience. So there's a lot of competitive like RTS style games out there that could do vastly better than anything that we're doing here.
So there's a couple more questions I want to get to. Like, what about mod compatibility between host and guest? Will guests receive notice if the host is using mods? The host will be informed. This is not entirely clear, but like definitely the server and the client need to have the same mods, except for maybe some client-only mods for like localization. And we'll need to figure out some sort of way of allowing the clients and server to synchronize on mods.
An analog that probably looks something like what we end up with is the model that Don't Starve Together uses, where you need to have everyone needs to have the server mods, but individuals can have their own client mods mixed and matched.
Have you guys considered only rendering other Hearthlings that are near a client player's settlement? Honestly, I haven't. I don't think that's come up as like a...
Yeah, and it's not...
Like
the rendering issue isn't the performance problem for us, it's the AI.
There's AI, yeah, and then there's going to be some network send stuff that we have to look at, but we'll get there. Okay, let's see.
Lyndon probably does want us to go watch Summer Wars with
Okay, a few more here.
Yeah.
We're going to have a ton of multiplayer games. Yes, I think that's true. Will you be able to help your friend build things? Would it be automatic, or would they have to request help?
In terms of the Hearthlings actually coming over and doing the construction.
Oh,
don't know.
That's unclear. But you can plan buildings together, and I think it would be cool if you could help them build things. Like, or I
think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That exact question is the most difficult part of figuring out how to get this multiplayer to work. Because, cool, you just spend all that time helping your friend plan their building. Who pays for all the decorations you just put down?
Also, will we be able to make multiplayer-specific mods? I'm not sure what extent mods can work with multiplayer. Right now, we've got debug tools and Rise Children, which are also mods on top. They should work. There is some level of like the way that Stonehearth's model works is not going to change, but you can have mods on top of it. So the multiplayer model of having a server and clients connecting to it, and then like the stores being replicated from the server to the client, that'll be the same. But like other than that, yeah, mods will work.
It's more like if I wrote a mod that used player 1 and player 2, expected there to be multiplayer, and then no one else was on my server, like maybe part of it just wouldn't work, or you'd only get the player 1 content or something.
I think you could work around though. You can sort of say, oh, I'm pausing the game until like I have like that. All that logic exists in the the mod level, not in the engine level. So I think it's possible. Marcia says, I just realized I'll never invite people to my maps. That's funny. We're gonna have to like guard that too.
And you're not alone if you don't if you're not interested in playing multiplayer. There are lots of people who just want to play this game single player, and we totally respect that. But like, we just wanted to make sure that all of you who want to play it in multiplayer have that option too.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
And for those of you that are concerned about, like, man, PvP is what I really wanted, and we were just talking about focusing on collaborative side, like, we still don't have a formalized plan for what the final gameplay of Stonehearth will be. And so I will not, while I am entirely comfortable right now saying that the focus of all our development efforts will be collaborative, I won't rule out some like fairly janky PvP mode or a way to access that via a mod. It's just I don't think it will be fun, and we're not going to make a lot of effort to try and make it fun.
Like, Angela, what would happen if right now you typed like set enmity like hostile? They'll all start attacking each other, right?
I think so.
Like,
we haven't tried it.
I was seriously thinking about starting a vote to do that to Albert, and then it occurred to me that it might not have been Albert. Richard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
what
sure
you're
you
talking
don't.
about. I really don't.
Okay, will the game master be co-op, or will it be competitive like the first person to 20 gold bricks? Like, that's another thing that's up in the air. I think, well, not the competitive part, like, but what the game master is going to look like. Most likely be sort of cooperative, but what that looks like is not exactly sure.
I should also mention that if you have lots of questions about multiplayer, hit us up on Discourse.
Yeah.
We are there, and we will answer them in the time that they in the good time that they need.
Yeah, and I want to stress that, like, once again, where we're at right now is like, hey, this technology works. And hey, we had some concerns if this would be fun at all, and it turns out it is really fun.
And the technology works.
Yeah, and the technology works.
By the way.
So all the subsequent questions of how does the economy work? What's the goaling? Like, what are the specific like UI interactions that you'll have between players? How does trading work? All that stuff we don't know. We have ideas and gestures towards solutions, but we still, frankly, we need to make sure that Stonehearth in the single player is a really great experience. And then once we have that defined and well understood, I think a lot of that will in turn start to answer the multiplayer specific questions as well.
And if you guys have suggestions, or if you want to like write us like like thoughts that you have, like we're more than happy to read them. Like, you know, how you particularly envision playing multiplayer. I've been asking this question for a long time. You've been answering it for a long time. I super appreciate it. If watching this playtest has given you new ideas about how you'd like to play Stonehearth, like definitely call that out. And even if, you know, it's not something we can get to, maybe it's something that you guys can pull together, like as a community, if it's something that you want that is different from our vision. Okay. All right. I think this brings stream 300 to a close. It's amazing that we have had 300 streams. So thank you all for joining us.
Thanks so much, everybody.
And thank all of you guys for streaming so regularly, so that it is not always me.
It is always a pleasure.
I really appreciate it. It is always a pleasure to hang out with all of you. Thank you all so much for coming and joining us. And if you have any more questions, you want to follow up at all, find us on discourse.stonehearth.net. We check it all the time. All right. Bye.
Bye.